In the Destiny community, many people are still experimenting with ways to play with Solar 3.0 and even Void 3.0. Some of us are looking towards to the future, already talking about Arc 3.0, the things that we want to see, and guessing what could potentially come with this subclass. Well, in this video, I'm going to present to you my Arc 3.0 wish list. This is just my personal opinion. If you like anything that I share, consider dropping me a like to support the video. Ladies and gentlemen, let's dive into it. We're going to start talking about in general, what I would like to see across all characters. And the first thing that comes to mind, and hopefully it's yours too, it is movement. I want to see characters being able to embrace movement in a way that we haven't seen before. In Destiny 1, hunters in the Arc subclass used to be able to use blink. This would be an awesome option to have on hunters again, or at least even on warlocks. I want to see movement, ways to be able to move around the map differently, ways to change your position in ways that we didn't see before. So this is something that I want across all characters, okay? Titans being able to change their position, same with warlocks, and then hunters, of course. Now, another part of movement here is definitely something in regards to weapon handling. So handling, if you can draw your weapon faster, be able to ADS quicker, switch weapons quickly like you used to be able to with quick draw. All these things are things that I imagine being part of the Arc movement subclass. Now, moving along, I also think that the Arc subclasses should have ways to improve your airborne effectiveness stat. Now, the previous subclasses did a terrible job allowing you to embrace this fantasy of jumping in the air and hitting your shots. Void 3.0 didn't have any of that. And Solar 3.0 barely scratched the surface with heat rises and some temper fragment that the Solar 3.0 subclasses provided. Well, with Arc, I imagine that they would give you many more options. So moving along, I want to see each character embrace their respective fantasy as much as possible. I feel like Titans should excel at blinding targets. They have flashbang grenades, and even their shoulder charge can blind foes. Hunters seem like the character that can disorient enemy, and Warlock should excel at being able to do electricity chaining and wiping crowds of enemies. Now, one thing I definitely keep in mind is the fact that Solar 3.0 Hunter gave them about 4 melee options. This is something that I loved, but also hated at the same time because they didn't put this with the other characters as well. So here with Arc 3.0, I would like to see many more options. I want to have more options to pick from. I want Warlocks, Hunters, and Titans to have more melee options to play around and combine with their respective builds. This takes me to the following point, and that is fragments. With Void 3.0, I feel like the fragments were pretty universal. I could use them for practically different things, while when it comes to Solar 3.0, it almost felt like there was a specific way that you had to play, otherwise half of those fragments were pretty much pointless. Now with Arc 3.0, I would love to see a balance between both. Definitely ways to dive into a specific playstyle with those fragments for Arc 3.0, but also options to just play universally like Void 3.0 have. If you need an example of what I'm talking about, we have things like health regeneration from just getting a punch when it comes to Void 3.0. And Solar just says ignite this and then you get a bonus effect. Now, let's try to have a little bit of a balance about both so that we can have more fun. And if you want to stay away from, the whole Arc 3.0 identity, then you can still enjoy it to some extent. We finished navigating our way through my Arc 3.0 wish list, where I tell you what I would like to see for all characters in general. But now, I want to take a deeper look into each one of them and tell you what abilities, aspects I would like to see for them. Let's start things off with our favorite space wizard, the Warlock. So this character, we all see them as that one character who embraces the space magic as much as possible, and that's exactly what I want to see. For starters, I wish that the Rift would get ditched and give us a brand new ability. It could be something related to movement, which would make sense with Arc 3.0. The character has always been forced to be a stationary target when it comes to sitting on the Rift, whether it's a healing or an empower Rift, but it's time to allow them to change that playstyle, give up that stationary playstyle, and allow them to be more free when it comes to changing their positionings around the Crucible. Now, when it comes to the aspects, there's two things that comes to mind. One is the chaining capability. I want to see crowds of thralls, dregs, and shanks just getting completely obliterated by electricity that they're chaining left and right, and everything just disintegrates. It would be awesome. Another aspect I would love to see is something that takes the Arc Soul Buddy and pushes it to the next level. You know how we saw the trip mine enhancement when it comes to the Solar 3.0 Hunter? What if we can get a sentry turret enhancement? Instead of just a little Arc Buddy, eventually you can turn it into an actual turret that you place around the map and just fries people coming around. Just something to think about. So let's go back to talk about movement. One of my wishes is that Warlocks get blink on their Arc 3.0 subclass. Currently they only have it for Void, but I feel like it would make sense to just have it on all elements. Now it could be a variation of blink. You know, when you pop your Stormcaller and you have the Ionic blink, you release like this little electricity effect and you teleport forward. It could be badass if we just have that as an in general movement option for Warlocks, not needing to pop a super. So to finish this off, I just want to say that I feel like a brand new melee ability should come to the Warlock. Imagine like a short range Chaos Reach. You feel like Goku walking around. So it'd be like a mini Celestial Fire, but instead it's just a beam attack. That would be so sick. And those are some of my wishes when it comes to Arc 3.0 Warlock. Let's move on to the next character. Titans. They have always been about punching, but for Arc 3.0, my wish is that this character would walk away from that a little bit and embrace the space magic for once. One thing that comes to mind when I'm thinking about melee abilities is that instead of being about punching, let him throw something. Let's give Titans a badass arc type of staff that he can just throw at people for a range attack. When I've played Destiny for all of these years, there's always certain type of abilities that I miss on this character that I feel like makes him inferior to the others. Warlocks have excelled at having range attacks, and so have Hunters. Now Titans really are all about close quarters, so their range attacks have never been the best. The mini throwing hammer when it comes to Crucible, I find it to be lackluster. Same with the brand new shield toss on Void 3.0. I hope that Arc 3.0 provides a range attack that is really fun to play with, but also effective. Now, another thing is that when it comes to the aspects, I want to see these aspects embrace movement as much as possible. I want to see the Titan be able to move like never before, so that we can finally, for once, say goodbye to the Twilight Garrison. The devs need to allow the Destiny community to enjoy a brand new ability that gives the Titans movement that makes them not miss Twilight Garrison. This entire time people want it back, but that's because nothing else has came up that replaces that in terms of fun and effectiveness when it comes to playing the game. The last thing that I have as a wish when it comes to Titan is changing the barricade. It's always been place a shield here, place a shield over there, or if it's not a tall one, place a shorter one. Please, let's change the class ability. I want to play the Titan in a different way that's not just about putting walls. How about a ramp? If you really want to stick to placing the shield instead of one that's just forward blocking things, how about one that allows you to change your angles, get head glitches and high ground in different parts of the map differently? A ramp would be sick. It creates cover, but it also allows you to change your height in different areas and create different peaks that normally you wouldn't have access to on any other character. We finally made it to the final character, the Hunter. So first, let's address the elephant in the room, and that is the fact that with Forsaken, both Warlocks and Titans actually got a brand new super. Titans right now have access to Thunder Crash and the regular smash attack on the floor. Warlocks have access to Chaos Reach and Stormcaller, while Hunters really only just have Arc Staff. The other super is a variation that allows you to deflect projectiles, but in my opinion, that is not unique enough, different enough to justify it as being its own super. So for Arc 3.0, my wish is that we get a completely unique Arc Staff type of super. While the original, has this close quarter vibe where you have to get close and personal to actually hit targets, I want this new super to be a range attack, to be something that reminds you of the Sunbreaker or the Dawnblade. Now that would be awesome. When it comes to the aspects, I'm hoping to see things that allow you to enhance your gunplay inside of the Crucible or just PvE as well. Things that allow you to switch weapons faster, things that allow you to ADS faster, just in general boosting up your handling and your movement speed. All right, just want to be a speed demon. So moving along, I want to see a brand new class ability. Now Solar 3.0 introduced the Radiant Dodge, which was super awesome, and I want to see something like this again for Arc 3.0. I'm thinking something like Mask of Bacchus, but brought over to Arc 3.0, being modified so that it's actually a good balanced class ability. Now that would make me very happy to see. I'd be so happy to see that. Super awesome. Now lastly, what I would like to see from Arc 3.0 Hunter is a different melee ability that is focused on range. Right now when you use Hunter on Arc, you have close quarter punches, which are awesome. But let's take a page out of the Titans book and create this powerful punch that creates a shockwave and hits targets from a distance. Also, keep in mind, Titans don't read books. That's only Warlocks. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have in my mind in regards to Arc 3.0 and my wish list for it. If you agree with it, let me know in the comments below. If you have any new additional ideas, let me know. I would love to read them. But that's pretty much it for now. I hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll talk some other time. Peace.